Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome out there in Blog Talk Radio Land, Rainbow Soul, iTunes, and just so many places that people catch off the shelf on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, we got all these different time zones, which came up on last week's show in the country, and then we have people who tune in from different countries to listen to off the shelf, but we come on Eastern Standard Time. So that's New York City time, what I generally tell people at 11 a.m. So you want to catch the show live. I know some people on Central Time, which right now is 10 o'clock there. People in Central Time like Indiana and Nashville, Tennessee. But we come on Eastern Standard Time, which is, again, New York City time. So please remember that. You want to catch off the shelf live. And I want to welcome and thank each of you once again here for joining us on Blog Talk Radio. We're in our 14th year, believe it or not. I want to leave this thought with you before we go into the show and introduce you to our fabulous guests. And the thought I want to leave with you this week is the past cannot be judged. The future is yet in your power. You know, we just have to practice forgiveness, forgive ourselves, the decisions we made when we made a bad choice, and others, because when other people, we think they mistreat us, they made a bad choice the same way we do. So we have to forgive because we cannot change the past. It cannot be changed. The future is yet in your power. So something to, if you choose to think about today and as you go forward. But I want to welcome you again to our February the 9th show. I know some of you might be getting ready for Valentine's Day. It's next week. What are you going to get that person you love? Hopefully you let them know every day how much you value them, because we can be gone in the next 5 minutes. We live as though people are going to always be there. I got time to love you. No, you don't. You could be gone in the next 5 minutes. So I want to thank you for joining us again. And before we introduce you to today's phenomenal guest, I just want to ask you, and I ask you this question every Saturday, how good of a mystery sleuth are you? Do you like mystery? Do you value relationships, particularly when two people are meant to be together? There's nothing worse than being in a relationship where you know you don't belong with somebody. It just will never work. But when two people belong together, and did you meet at the right time? There's so many things. Are you both developed enough to make it work, or you could be together, but you met at the wrong time? So many things. If you value these things in relationships between a man and a woman, also there's a murder mystery in this book that spikes off at early in the second chapter. And if you value relationships, again, it's a book about relationships. There are 4 friends in this story, a soulmate relationship, and there's a very complicated father and son relationship because the father has untreated alcoholism. Our lives are not perfect, just as Raymond Clark's life, the star of Love Pour Over Me's life, isn't perfect. But if you value these things and you like mystery, I encourage you to stop what you're doing and go get a copy of Love Pour Over Me right now. You can get it in print or ebook. Ebook is at Amazon. It's like $3.03, but it's at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. Ebook it. Just do that right now. You can start reading Love Pour Over Me today. Please don't talk yourself out of enjoying a good book. And now let us go and meet our very special off-the-shelf guest. And our special off-the-shelf guest this morning is Donna Moses. Donna is the author of Unexpected Life Transitions. And this is a story that's included in the inspirational anthology, Arise from the Ashes. To tell you a little bit about Donna, and she'll tell you more about herself when she comes on live in just a few seconds. Donna loves gospel music, and one of her favorite singers is Warren Sapp. She's a retired nurse. She is also the founder of the Sisters in Conversation and Sisters in Harmony Christian Book Club. Oh, don't you love that? A book club founder. Donna is also a recipient of the Susan B. Anthony Award for her community involvement. she is a graduate of Sacramento Theological Seminary and Bible College, and she makes her home in Sacramento, California. So let us give Donna a warm off-the-shelf welcome. Welcome to Off the Shelf, Donna.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
And we look forward to what you share. After 14 years, I tell you, I learned something from every guest on Off the Shelf. This is why I tell people, not for ratings for me, I learned something from every guest on the show. If you listen to every Off the Shelf, talking to our listeners, if you listen to every show, you would be tremendously blessed. Every guest blesses me with something. Really, really encourage you. And there's still time for you to go out and tell your colleagues, your friends, your relatives. If you ain't told at least 10 people, please go out even now and start telling people. You can do it through Twitter. You can do it through Facebook, texting even now, to come on and tune in to Off the Shelf to listen to what Donna Moses has to share right now on Off the Shelf Book Talk Radio. So to begin, Donna, please tell our listeners who want to know more about you, where you grew up and what life was like for you growing up.
Okay, I'd be happy to. I grew up in Indiana. Actually, I was born in Compton, California. And at 2 years old, my family decided to move back. My father was a minister, and they moved back to Indiana, to Evansville, because that was actually where their parents, my grandparents, lived. And I was in Evansville until probably about the 8th grade. And then my family decided they were going to move to Indianapolis, and so Indianapolis, Indiana. I actually went to, I'm actually the middle child in the family of 7. And I was always involved in school activities, from majorette to all kind of clubs and different things. I love to be involved. I attended Indiana University, and in Indiana, I later got married right after. Actually in college I got married, and that ended in a divorce, and I'm now remarried. I have 4 children, and I'm an auntie to many other children that I have raised. I have 9 beautiful, gifted grandchildren, and 1 more on the way. So that's a little bit about me and of how I grew up. And where I grew up.
Indiana, I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
You said Indiana. When I was in the military, I actually was stationed in Indiana, and even though it's a Midwestern state, it kind of put me in mind of the South a lot. It's like a lot of it. I said, am I in Mississippi or am I in I mean, it was a lot of it. It has a lot of Southern, the mentality, a lot of it is.
Yeah.
So as soon as you said Indiana, I said, oh, my goodness, and I've lived there. So I was near the Bloomington area where the Indiana University. Yep.
Yeah, I lived there. So I understand what you're talking about. I love it. I still have family there, and it's home. It's still home to me. My mother, was living there, and so she's now passed. But yes, I do understand, because when I moved to California, everybody was like, "Where are you from?" You have your hospitality is so different. And I was like, "Oh, I'm from Indiana." So anyway.
It must have been culture shock for you. So you grew up in Indiana, but we all have a dream in us, all of us. What did you dream of becoming when you were a kid, Donna?
Well, actually, I liked dancing and theater and all that. I did, but soon, you grow up, and I had to be realistic. So I wanted to be a social worker, but that didn't work. So I ended up, thinking, as I got older, I actually became a nurse. But I wanted to be that social worker because I love people, and I wanted to help, people. And as I grew up, I saw, my grandmother, how she just was a blessing to so many people. And I wanted to be like her. She was actually my shero, and I saw, a reflection of God's love. She just didn't mind sacrificing, and she had some health issues too. So I wanted to, when I got older, I said, I really want to help. I really want to be a blessing the same way she was, because she didn't mind molding us, trying to, give up everything that she had. She made sacrifices to that so that we could have all the essentials to help mold us. And she taught me to be strong, and she taught me to be selfless and resilient. I saw her doing all these things during hard times, and we're from humble beginnings, so that just struck me, and I wanted to be able to, be just like her. I saw that spirit, and go ahead.
Of all the guests we've had on, you're one of the few who said that. Some say that I wanted to be like my mom when you dreamed of what you were becoming. Man, she must be beaming. Hearing you say that.
Yeah, she's no longer living. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Donna.
I said she's no longer living, but she was the core to my life. She was I love my mother too, but there was something about, if you've ever had a grandmother, that love is so deep that I still feel it.
Yeah.
I still can feel it. Her love for me.
And that's a blessing. How old were you when you knew that you wanted to be a writer?
Wow. That's you're asking me that. That's so funny, because when I was about, I guess I was probably maybe about 10, I guess. In our class, I went to a Catholic school, and I remember the nuns telling us that we were going to have this contest, and we were going to be teaming up with another classmate. And so there was another little young child that was there. His name was Leonard, and he was a friend of mine too. We actually lived right behind each other. So we decided we were going to pair up, and so Leonard could draw. So I was happy that he was on the team, and I wrote most of the little story, and he was drawing, and it was funny because I never thought we'd win. If you were selected, you'd win this prize, and then your paper would get displayed, at the open house. So I thought, gosh, this is great. This is fun. And that kind of, it kind of left me with feeling like, gosh, I've accomplished something, and I wouldn't mind continuing. And I thought about it and just got busy in life, and then later on, I thought, well, I certainly would like trying this, and I'm going to talk to my sister and see if we can, write a book together. And that didn't happen for either one of us. So then I, met Paulette, and that's how I got involved with writing again.
And that's another thing. We've had a couple of people who contributed to Arise from the Ashes, and they all have a lot of respect for Paulette. And I think that's how a lot of the writers got involved with the project for Arise from the Ashes, which speaks volumes about Paulette. A retired nurse, so that's a service profession, kind of like an admin assistant, a nurse. I'm trying to think of other professions where people who do cooking or cleaning, it's so service-oriented. Your whole job is in serving others. So as a retired nurse, I want to just a little bit, giving our off-the-shelf listeners a little bit more background on you before we go into your story in Arise from the Ashes. But as a retired nurse, how long did you serve others as a nurse?
Probably for about 23 years. and then I served others as a nurse, and then I went from nursing to management, and still being involved with that. That went from being a staff developer, and still teaching a form of education for nursing. So that has just I've always felt fulfilled, and I felt that was what God had called me to do. So I'm just really blessed. I'm thankful that I was able to be in the lives of many people that I have served, and they blessed me as well. So, yeah, many years I was a nurse.
And
so.
I heard, I did when I got out of the Navy, I did I forget what they call it, like temporary work at a hospital. And nurses, that is a very demanding job, and you did it for 23 years. Frances Ray, she's since crossed over, but she was a best-selling romance novelist, and she also was on Off the Shelf. But she was a nurse, and I admire. And thank you for serving others in that role. But as a writer, and then we're going to sort of lead into your story in Arise from the Ashes. But as a nurse, I wanted to ask you: did you witness a lot of people? Because I'm not sure specifically what the role you filled as a nurse, or were you exactly what type of were you in a hospital or clinic? Not sure. But as a nurse, did you witness a lot of people dealing with great life transitions?
Oh, absolutely. Many. I worked in many different areas, from clinic to hospitals to workers' comp as a consultant. I've done a lot of different things, and many people have faced many life-threatening transitions. They've had personal transitions that have affected their life, their health. And so that I did witness that, and just seeing, some of the situations and that they faced. Even being a nurse, lots of times you have to be a good listener, and you have to just help them move through it, whether it's educating them about their disease or giving them the proper direction as to where to go to seek help for whatever issues they're going through. I've seen from women having birth to cancer, through all different types of disease struggles. Yes.
So I wanted to ask you next, and this almost makes you really sort of qualified the work that you've done to write the story you did. But what did you learn from the different experiences you saw people going through these great life transitions? What did you learn from them while you were a nurse? Lessons that you can share with off-the-shelf listeners. Now, one thing I heard Les Brown speak years ago, and he said the major regret, people who work in hospice will say when they ask people, what's going on with them, what do they think, any final wishes, is there anything you'd like to do or say to anybody? But one of the top regrets people have is not having more money, not having like more material things or things like that, but they regret not going after what they really wanted to do. And that is that's almost really, I won't say scary, but it's definitely something to get my attention. And I wonder how many other people that after all, you take a whole life of physical experiences, and this is the top thing people say. I really wish I had gone after what I really wanted to do, but maybe they got married or something happened and they thought, I'll put my dream aside and I'll just be a good husband or wife or parent. I'll put my dream aside and I got to just work this job and pay the bills. And that's like the number one regret. So in that, what other lessons did you learn that you can share with our listeners from maybe what people said to you as they were going through a great life transition?
Well, you touched on some of the things that people actually spoke to me about. Some people were in situations that they just didn't know how to get out of. And they, as we talked, they realized that they had to seek their dreams. They were stuck, and they realized that, you should. I would always tell them, you never give up, because God doesn't want us to give up. He doesn't want to put our lives, we're not to just kind of stagnate our lives, but we're to seek Him and ask Him. And when we seek and ask Him, those are the things that He'll give if they're, lined up with Him. But also, I saw that people were just, some of them were bitter with what they were going through. And so I would just tell people to live for God, and know that no matter what, God He's with you, and that that just life is too short, and that we must try hard to, if you fall down, get back up. And some people, when they get sick, they realize, when I get out of here, I'm going to think about myself. I'm going to dream. I'm going to fight. I'm going to, just encompass what God has given me. And those are some of the things that I tell people, is to press forward, fight the battle. God is with you. Continue to fight, and, at the end, everything will be, is victorious, and do things God's way. That's what I would recommend to him. So, a lot of people just, they learn after they've been sick or frustrated that that's no longer going to set them back. They're moving forward.
So we do have it in us. We do have it in us to live a victorious life. So for all you've witnessed, growing up in Indiana, moving to California, working as a nurse, 23 years, seeing all the changes that you've gone through in your personal life, and witnessing as a nurse, people and their families just almost begging for more time, begging for another chance. For our listeners, we don't want to see people get to that point. I saw on Twitter this morning, it was like an image of a guy sitting on a train or a bus, and it looks like he's just being introspective, and it said, do not get to the end of your life and say, I wish I had of. I mean, get going even now. So with all of this, there's so many topics that, in an anthology or any story, anybody could write about. You could write about birth, being a parent, a career. You could write about something from a political aspect, nature, taking care of earth, poverty. There's so many subjects. What inspired you to write Unexpected Life Transitions? Why did you choose that particular topic?
Because what had happened to me, I've had many unexpected life transitions, but that one resonated with me, and I picked that because I really wanted to kind of tell my story about how God can pull us up out of those transitions. We don't. Things are going to happen, but even when they do happen, you've got to look at what has just taken place, and sometimes it takes a minute for those things to resonate with you, what's going on. But in the midst of it all, you've got to really pay attention, because in unexpected transitions, there are sometimes gifts that we don't notice it. But sometimes in those messages, whatever's transpiring, that message is for you. It's to mold you. It's to rebirth you. And that was part of the reason why I chose the title as Unexpected Life Transition, because I felt a rebirth from what had taken place.
Now, going into the story, just some of the research that I did for your feature interview here on Off the Shelf, but I have to ask you, and this is something that I've experienced. Many people, who leave their physical experience, and we have different reactions to it. But there's one common one, and I want to ask you the question first. But did you blame yourself for your god sister's passing? And how old were you when it happened? And did you blame yourself?
I did blame myself, and I was in my 30s, and I did blame myself. I just felt like we were so close, and I truly felt like we had gone to the doctor together. We had done many different things together, but I did blame myself for a while. And as you read on, you'll see that I had to seek some kind of help through it all. So, yes, that is easy to do, but we don't know what we're going to encounter in life, and we don't know what's going to pass our way. But, yeah, that I did. I did blame myself because I felt like I could have been more, as a nurse, I felt like I could have been more of, I don't want to say it, just more helpful to her, listening to her, giving her more advice. And I did. We did go to the doctor together, and if you read the story, it goes on to say that she was given the okay to have the baby. So, but yeah, there's guilt. There's guilt. Not now, but it was. I did feel guilty.
I didn't want to give that away. I mean, I experienced a major life transition about a year ago, and I mean major. But that's one of the common things they say that guilt, particularly for parents who lose a child, but that is one of the common ones, and it can be tough to shake because it can come on really strong at the start, and then if you work through it, it can go away, but then you'll see or hear something on TV, and it comes back, and then it can go away and come back. But that is, and so I encourage anybody. I mean, we don't have everything in the palm of our hands. We love people you love them in thought, you love them in deed, and what you say and how you treat them, and you do the best you can. But I don't think we can keep people here as much as we might think we can. I don't think so. So I'm saying that to anybody, particularly a parent, if you lost a child, that guilt can be overwhelming. Just to let yourself up and be gentle and patient with yourself as you work through it. Why do you think, having said that, from your perspective, your experience, why do you think we do blame ourselves when somebody exits their body? Why do you think we blame ourselves?
I think part of it is we're selfish in the first place because we never want to think about losing anybody. But we think, if I coulda, shoulda, woulda, all these things. And I think it's just, I don't know if it's a selfish thing or it's just that some of us just we love so deeply that the thought of losing one or we've lost one is just very painful, and so you wonder how did that slip? How did that come upon so quickly? And really we blame ourselves, but God knows all of our beginnings and He knows our ending. And when we're going to come in and when we're going to leave this world. And sometimes I just felt like maybe I know I had kind of disconnected myself. But it's hard during the moment. We can say all those things, but we're human. And it happens. We love them so much, but God loves them even more. And so that's hard to realize that. And, sometimes it is.
And there are people. It is easier said than done. That's why you can't. You gotta we have to. That's why I say be patient with yourself, and everybody's gotta. The way somebody deals with a loss may not be the way the next person does. So you can't. And a lot of people just want you to get over it, so life can go back to normal. But when those major life transitions, whether it's career change, a marriage, you're not going back the way you were. Maybe that's why they've been having to change
right.
you. To change you so you don't go back. Now, grief can be a long process, and it's different for each person. So we should all be given our own time to grieve. I wanted to ask you, what did you learn while you were going through that grieving process over your God sister? What, like, keys, pearls did you come away with that you could share with off-the-shelf listeners?
Well, going through that grieving process, it seems like you're never going to get past it. There's so many different stages, and I realized that I needed some assistance. I needed help, and I actually went to a class, and there's just so many different stages of it. But I learned that their spirit will always live, and that I just tried to focus on what she had given me, because she gave me some beautiful, beautiful nuggets, pearls to always treasure. I remember her patience and her love and her kindness, her forgiveness, her example of how she, loved God so much that while she was praising God, I was actually, I want to say, angry. I was, going through, there was anger, depression, there's bargaining, there's acceptance, there's so many different things. But I went through many different stages, and I just want to, tell people that there is a gift in death. There's this, it will never, you always will have their pearls, their memories to hold on to. And that many times has put a smile on my face, and my broken heart has filled my heart with just their examples that, just realizing to reflect back on the goods and of what they've left, and, how they passed through our lives, and what a blessing was to have her as my God sister. That is a treasure that I will always, always keep in my heart.
So it sounds like for even, and thanks for what you're sharing, Donna. I really appreciate it. It sounds like there are not only one of the steps, not just through somebody exiting a physical experience that we're close to, but like a divorce, moving, like you did that. You moved from Indiana to California, and that's a major change, a job change. You work in a job. It's like some people with the recession, and they say how many people. I was listening to a report with they said, where are all these jobs coming from? Every month, the jobs report, when it comes out, they said it could be some people who totally gave up on finding a job during the recession, that they're now back in the market. That they're now, and that might be why the numbers are going up right now. But all these are major shifts. If you live in a house a long time and your family's in Indiana and you're going out to California, or somebody else who's a listener who's going to a totally different country, or they're in switching an entirely different job field, or they get laid off and they're not able to get another job in the field they've worked in for 20 plus years, so they got to go into a whole nother career field. Are there steps other than what you shared with your God, about your change with your God sister, of think about the good times and what you were having to let go? You'll always have those good memories, but are there other steps that we can incorporate, Donna, to help us move through unexpected life transitions, a job layoff, and you didn't see it coming? Somebody coming in, maybe a spouse, hey, I got a new job, we got to move. Like what?
Right.
So are there
right.
any other steps you could share with us on how to get through this?
Well, yeah, I want, sometimes we've got to live now and not be anxious about anything. It says in the scripture, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer, petition, and with thanksgiving, you need to present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. That's what the Word of God says. But we also have to really learn that we've got to trust in this situation. And we've got to, whatever situation it is, because I've been through that situation, where many other situations besides a death, but life-changing situations where, losing a job and that type of thing. We've got to be willing to accept what's present. And right now, what's going to happen, we've got to accept it. And we've got to make ourselves available. We've got to just pretty much redress, like we redo our resume. We have to redo ourselves. And when we are in a situation, we've got to, reach out to people. Some people we may not even know, but we've got to be, willing to talk to them and willing to, ask questions and just search and make yourself available. Pray and ask God to open your heart that He would send someone with a message, or you've got to just say, okay, now I've got to go out here and meet people. I got to beat the streets. I got to just reintroduce myself, and it's hard. It's easier said than done. It's hard to do that, but you've got to move forward, and we cannot stay stuck. We've got to move on in our life, and just the biggest thing for me was prayer and trusting God, trusting family members. You've got to seek help through your family members, and if you don't have family members, you're going to meet people, and you've got to pray for discernment about people. You just got to it's a trust. It's trusting and moving forward.
Now, this quote is at your Facebook page. Be thankful for closed doors, detours, and roadblocks. They protect you from paths and places not meant for you. Now, it can be hard, Donna, to see this when you really, really, really want something. You really want it. I'm thinking about those of us, whether young or middle-aged or older, or relationships, jobs. There's just some things we really, really wanted, but the door won't open. And maybe it's a way that you're not supposed to be with that person. Are there signs that something is really a roadblock or a detour? Because we know if we keep trying, like that widow in the Bible, you keep trying, the door can open to a blessing. So it's not always that the door ain't opening right away. Maybe if you keep trying, you should go through the door. Are there signs, though, that something is really a roadblock or a detour?
I think so. When you're constantly getting a rejection or a no for an answer, I don't know what the situation may be, but when those things come upon you, many times, many delays are the blessings of God. And sometimes we want to push through that door, and there's consequences that come with that. Sometimes we have to just wait it out until God says so. And waiting it out can be so tough, especially, when we are ready for whatever it is. We are ready for it. We're not going to wait. I'm ready for it right now. But it's hard. It's hard, Denise, but we've got to know that we know when that door is shut, we better leave it shut. Because a lot of times when we break through the door, there's something on that other side that may not be the blessing that you thought it was going to be, and it might be more hurtful than waiting. Now, so we need to wait and not push through the doors, and just wait on God, because the door will, if that is something that the Lord wants for us to happen, it will happen. But we've got to just sit back and say, you know what? I've seen many signs, and sometimes it's as simple as your car not starting, or, or you thinking you're going to get this promotion, and it doesn't happen, because sometimes those things that are behind that door are not the people that God wants you to be lined up with. So, we've got to be careful of trying to bust through a door that's not ready to be opened.
Yes. But and that is so true. I also want to say, though, for people who God put a dream in your heart. If they look how many times Moses had to go back to Pharaoh, or I think how many times Harriet Tubman had to go back on the Underground Railroad. If something really is, you may have to be consistent and persistent, because hoping and wishing, those two alone they haven't ever produced a result for me. So to put in action, and sometimes you do have to be persistent and consistent, both. Just keep knocking on that door, knocking on that door, and knocking on that door, and knocking on that door. But maybe we do know when, maybe not right now. But going from that to this, when and why book clubs? So your story in the book, Arise from the Ashes. So to our shelf listeners, there are several powerful stories in Arise from the Ashes, and Donna Moses' story is titled Unexpected Life Transitions, which we've been talking about life transitions on today's show. But she also started a book club. So when and why did you start the Sisters in Conversation and Sisters in Harmony Christian Book Club? What inspired you to do that, and how long have you guys been in existence?
Oh, my goodness, it's been 17 years, and so
wow.
It's been a really long time. I actually started the book club from my home, and, just wanted to just get some ladies together and just read, and we did that, and then the book club just kind of, other women heard about it, and they said, I want to join. Well, at one point I had two book clubs, and the names were not merged. They were two separate, Sisters in Conversation and Sisters in Harmony. And the word just got out in the community, and then that they wanted to be a part of it, so I started that. And then we decided, we wanted to bless young graduating seniors from high school, and so we started a scholarship. And so we decided that we were going to have a scholarship luncheon honoring few students from the community, giving them scholarships. And so our very first author was Victoria Christopher Murray. She was our very first author. We have had many, many authors. The event usually holds about 300 women, each year. And
oh, wow.
We've just been blessed, beyond blessed, to be able to give those scholarships out. And I'm just thankful for the ladies and their love to read, and it's a unity. I mean, we really have a good time. So we have an event coming up actually tonight, and it's a gumbo dinner for us tonight. We're going to be discussing one of our books that we've selected. So that's how that birthed into me. And then I had at one point I had a teenage girl book club, and that was a blessing too. So, we have to reach back and mentor and be role models for our young ladies as well.
How many members did you guys start with? 17 years, and you said this spot holds 300. And how many members are in the book club today?
I'm sorry, Denise. I meant the 300 women will come in attendance. No, we don't have that many members. We have 18 members, so that's how many we have. That
is still pretty impressive. And to keep it together for 17 10 years a book club. That is impressive. That is impressive. Do you find, Donna, that books come alive while you're discussing them with other book lovers?
Oh, we have so much fun. Sometimes we might be, one time we dressed up as some of the characters in the book. And then, yes, books do come alive. And that's why we love to read, because we are able to discuss issues, have fun with it, travel with it. They do come alive. And some of them are just so real. It's like, is this my story? Or you might know someone. So yes, they come alive. They spark interest. We discuss it in detail. Sometimes, we're here late just still talking about that book, or somebody may go home and call me and say, girl, I didn't get to bring this point up, But
oh my goodness. Yes. Wow. You guys and you sound like you've become friends. So there's so much, in a book club. Somebody going through a life transition, if they love to read, joining a book club might be a healing step even for you, because people who love to read, and then the stories, and you get so into to discussing the book. It is a lot of fun. Now, you've done so many things. You've done so many things, Donna. Can you tell us, what is Links Incorporated?
Oh, okay. Links Incorporated is a professional Black women's organization, and I am a member and have been for about 12 years. And it's national, and then you have your, different little groups, organizations in your city. So it's all over the world. And so we are just a working group of women. We are professional women. We have national conferences. We have Western area conferences. We have people like Condoleezza Rice, who is honorary member. We have so many women that bring so much to the table that, community involvement, and that is where a lot of my community work has lied, within this community. I was, their program director, so I did the programs here, and we reached out to mentoring young girls, to going to homes for women that need shelter. We're in the schools. We're, talking about healthy eating, healthy living. When we're out at the shelter, we're helping the women with helping them to learn how to make themselves available, marketing when they go out and look for jobs. And many of the women, are from domestic violence. And so we also do a big Christmas. At Christmas time, we do a big party for them. And, we just bless their children. We tell them about health issues and just so many different things. The Links is a wonderful, if aren't familiar with it, go on the website and look it up. But it is a beautiful organization that reaches out into the community. We put a lot of our different expertise together, and we go out there and try to be a blessing to the community.
Oh, you are really, really involved. You are definitely 23 years retired nurse. You just keep going through your transitions and going forward, which is so important to have a full, good, rewarding, victorious life, not just a good life at a certain point or a certain stage. But I wanted to congratulate you on winning the Susan B. Anthony Award for community involvement. You were talking about Links Incorporated and the work that they do, because good communities don't just happen. Like good families don't just happen. People make them happen. They make decisions and get intent on what they're going to do to make their family strong and make their community strong. what can each of us do? You talked about some of the work that Links Incorporated does, helping women in shelters, et cetera. What can each of us do to build stronger communities, Donna?
Well, I think a lot of it we need to start at home, and we need to, if our children are grown, we need to mentor to our and be role models in front of our grandchildren. We need to invite them into the community as well with us, and show them how rewarding it is, and how we can, it's not always about us, but it's about God's business. It's about going out there and just sharing whatever God gives us. It doesn't belong to us. It's to be shared. And so I think if it's even helping a neighbor or helping a friend, sometimes we can't do large things. We can't go out and be involved in organizations, or maybe just volunteering at a homeless shelter, or a feeding shelter where they feed the homeless and so on. If we go there and those type of things, it's just it's nothing, we don't have to want to win an award to do it, but just knowing that God is pleased when we can grab another one's hand and put in their hand what God has given to us and share and love each other. That's what it's all about. It's just connecting. And like I said, if it's starting within the house, just sharing, even sharing thoughts, even sometimes making a phone call and sharing and encouraging and being that way a blessing. I also did mention that at my church, I also was on a committee there where we worked with young people. We do a college-bound workshop every year, and so that has also brought joy to me. Just making sure that these young people are lined up and they know what's expected. So those are some other community outreach things that I've done. So.
Good for you, and thank you. Again, service as a nurse, Links Incorporated, and then what you shared in the communities and the church work you do, and then the fun part is the book club. Now, what do you hope Donna, that readers will gain from reading Unexpected Life Transitions, which is, again, our listeners in the anthology, Arise from the Ashes. But what do you hope readers will walk away from after they read Unexpected Life Transitions?
Well, I hope that they'll walk away with knowing that, yes, there are unexpected things that come in our life, and sometimes it seems as though it's a roadblock, that we've stumbled, that we just don't know where to go. But I tell you that in that, whatever that situation is, and we're going to have them, don't give up. To know that whatever's happening in there, it's a lesson. It's something that we're going to gain. We're going to be, lots of times we're going to be blessed, whether it's leaving that situation. Sometimes it may seem like, gosh, if I leave, I'm leaving all of this, but if I stay. But no, God restores us. I want them to know that for me in this situation, God blessed me. He left me with a legacy because my God sister passes, but he left me with her legacy, and he left me knowing that you can do all things through Christ. All things are possible, and that God is He's going to strengthen you, He's going to renew you, but also that, we are God's vessels, and He is never going to put more on us than we can bear. Sometimes it seems like, oh my goodness, how am I going to how am I going to go through this? But He's with us. He never leaves us. And so God never left me. I just had to realize through my son and through my sister, through my husband, that He loved me. And He had placed people right beside me to support me. So sometimes, we just get within ourselves. But I'm hoping and praying that it will open your eyes to see that what God blessed me with. He blessed me from this, that I was blessed that I wanted to help. I ended up, having to help her children and many other children the Lord entrusted me with. So God will entrust you with many different things. It's just a process that we go through, but I hope that it'll be an encouraging reading for you and a blessing to you. Those are my hopes and prayers, that you will pick up a copy of the book and just go with it, because going through grief, going through death, none of those things are easy. But remember, God is with you.
Yes, yes. Now, do you plan to write a novel? Because unexpected life transitions is like it's not an essay, not a short story, but it's a few pages, not a full-length book. But do you plan to write a novel? And if you did write a novel, Donna, what do you think the story would be about?
Well, I want to write about secrets, and I want to write something about how we bury our secrets, but they're never really buried. And some of the things that I have held onto that, I'm praying that I will be able to explode in this book and just lean on the Lord to guide me through it. But that has always been in my heart, that I do want to write about secrets. I don't have the full title yet, but that's what's on my heart right now.
Okay, now that could be a very good one. There's a mystery, and you could tie in romance, anything with secrets, and make that book. That book works. Susan Summers wrote a book, Keeping Secrets, but it was about her life story, and that book was very helpful to me. It takes energy to keep a secret, but that is a very good topic, keeping secrets. Where can off-the-shelf listeners get a copy of Arise from the Ashes?
They can actually, I'm on Facebook, so they can, on Facebook, Donna Moses. .com. They can get me on Facebook. Also, they feel free. They can email me at sistahdjm@yahoo.com, and on the website at where's my website? spirituallydevoted.com.
Spirituallydevoted.com. Are you going to be doing any? Do you do speaking? And if so, if you're going to have any upcoming speaking engagements, could you share one or two of them with our listeners?
Oh, yes, I am, and thank you for asking that. Actually, there is going to be an event. I wish I had put that right in front of me. But it's going to be over in the Bay Area, and it's through Deborah. It's through Turning Pages. You can find that. It's on the. It's under the. Under the Facebook. And you can also go on my Facebook and find it. But it's Turning Pages. It's next Saturday, and it's going to be 16 authors there, and I'm one of the ones that's going to be there. So I would love for people to come out to that. I wish I had the exact address for you. But anyway, that's one of my next speaking engagements. It's called Turning Pages Book Club, and they're sponsoring an event for Black History Month, and I will be there.
And give us the date again. It's in the Bay Area, and you said it's next?
February the 16th. And let me see if I can get her.
February the 16th. Okay, it's the Bay Area Turning Pages, and you can search for it online, you guys, and I'm sure it'll come up, or go to Donna Moses' Facebook page, and I'm sure she'll have it there if you want to get the specifics on it to attend again next weekend. We want to thank Ms. Donna Moses. She is the author of Unexpected Life Transitions, which is in the anthology of Rise from the Ashes. There's some powerful stories in there. She's also a recipient of the Susan B. Anthony Award for her community involvement. She's a member of Links Incorporated, and she's a graduate of the Sacramento Theological Seminary and Bible College. Home for her now, she was Indiana. It's now Sacramento, California. Again, unexpected life transitions, and if you hear long enough, you're definitely going to go through some of them. So please go out and get a copy of Arise from the Ashes. She's at an event next weekend, February the 16th, in the Bay Area, California. And it's hosted by Turney Page's Book Club. I'm sure she'll post it on her Facebook page.
Okay. I have the address. It's West Oakland Library, 1801 Adeline Street, from 1 to 4 p.m.
Okay, February 16th, 1 to 4 p.m. Please go out and support them and get a copy of Arise from the Ashes. We thank you, Donna, for your service as a nurse and your service in the community and for writing Unexpected Life Transitions, because we all have to go through those. And when you read this, her personal story, it's her own true personal story. When her God sister transitions, you may say, oh, I'm going through that, or I did that, or I thought I blamed myself, or whatever, and you might get some tips as you read the story that might help you in your own journey. So again, thank you, Donna, and thank you to each of our off-the-shelf listeners, especially our loyal listeners who've been with us for 14 years now. And as I always say, you are incredible. You are amazing. Please go out and create a fabulous day for yourself. See you back here next Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or New York City time. Donna, I'll shoot you an email. Bye for now.
Thank you.